Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy Ren, and I'm coming to you live from Nigeria. I just moved in, and it's been a blast. But today, I'm just gonna focus on the MCU today because I've had this issue on my mind for a very long time now, and I need to share it with you guys. Okay. How many of you have heard of Jane Foster basically being the new female Thor, or as the execs like to call it, Mighty Thor? I recently got the news when I watched a reveal of the new Phase 3 for Marvel, and they came out with, basically saying that Natalie Portman was reprising her role as Jane Foster, okay? Now, for those of you who know the MCU, who love the MCU as much as I do, the MCU is home to many talented heroes, okay? Heroes who are basically larger than life, and amongst all these heroes, there's what we call the unofficial holy trinity of heroes, basically Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, okay? And recently, Iron Man and Captain America have both had to retire or died, basically, I'm not gonna go into spoilers on who did. You should have watched Endgame by now, though. You should have watched Endgame by now, but I'm not gonna spoil it, okay? But we've lost two of the Holy Trinity. So now everyone was wondering, what's gonna become of what's gonna become of Thor? What's his future going to be? Is he gonna become the new face of the MCU, basically? But now we got a little insight into who Thor is, because in the next movie, now we know that there's gonna be Jane Foster as the next Thor, and so the only question now is she gonna be Thor alongside, the current Thor, or is she gonna just replace Thor in the future going forward? We don't know that yet, but this is one of the things people are wondering about, okay? And as you'd expect, the internet had a lot of controversy over this revelation, okay? People were up in arms, saying, who is Jane Foster? Why is she Thor? And there was the reverse backlash, okay? People saying that if you don't like Jane Foster as Thor, it's because you're a misogynist, you don't like women, you hate women in media, and which is kind of a terrible argument, because no one said that when people went to watch Wonder Woman, okay? No one was going, Wonder Woman isn't fit for the role or anything like that, Because what I'm here to talk about is my feelings about this, okay? If someone asks me now, is Jane Foster worthy of being Thor? My answer is no, okay? Right now, so far in the MCU, she's not. And I want to discuss why. I want to give you some reasons. I don't just want to come out here and tell you she's not worthy, okay? Let me give you some reasons, some facts. And you can take that as you will. And if you don't agree, you can let me know. If you do, let me know in the comments, okay? Now I'm gonna look at this from two main angles, okay? The first is thematically, and second is story-wise, okay? Now, what I mean by thematically is, does it fit the emotional theme of the MCU's tales so far, okay? The themes that the MCU have been driving at, okay? Does Jane Foster being, the next Thor fit those themes, okay? Now, if you look at Spidey as the next head of the MCU, it follows the theme of a little kid working on his confidence. Okay, he went through all the way from Spider-Man Homecoming up to now. Okay, that follows that theme, and which is why we can buy Spidey being the next face of the next new Avengers or whatever. Okay, it fits, but with Jane Foster, does it work? I don't believe so, and here's why. Because if you think about it, okay, picking up Thor's hammer is this magnificent feat in the MCU, okay? It's one of those things in the MCU which everyone wants to do, okay? It was like this building block. It looked like a gate pass. If you can lift up Thor's hammer, you're like one of the most worthy people in the MCU, which is why when Cap finally lifted it in Endgame, everyone went ballistic. No matter where you were in the world, you went ballistic when Cap lifted that hammer, okay? Because it was such an oh my God moment, okay? But, and now we're supposed to believe that Jane Foster can just come up and pick up this hammer herself. And it doesn't work, okay? Because we've not seen anything from her that is worthy, okay? She hasn't done anything in the MCU that you can say, okay, she saved the galaxy, or she risked her life to do this or do that. Because this is a character who I call it love interest, okay? She has basically been love interest so hard in Thor 1 and Thor 2 that no one can think of anything she is beyond Thor's love interest. If you think of Jane Foster in the MCU right now, she's basically Thor's love interest, nothing else, okay? And, you know, this was a character she was so deep in this terrible role that the actor, Natalie Portman, she was like, I'm not doing this anymore. She quit Marvel, okay? She was like, I'm never working for Marvel again, and now she's back. Now, I want to believe it has nothing to do with money. You know, I'm pretty sure Marvel didn't just throw a truckload of money at her and she was like, I changed my mind. I'm pretty sure she's doing it for the passion and she changed her mind because she believes in the MCU, yeah. I didn't say any of that. Let's pretend I didn't say any of that. So anyway, as I was saying, let's continue. You know? Anyway, just going back to Jane Foster, right? Let's think about it again. All right, so like I was saying, you know, this character, Jane Foster, she hasn't done anything to make the audience, us believe that she's worthy of Thor's hammer, okay? And you can't just believe that this person is worthy just because they're making a movie and they say she's worthy, okay? Because stories don't work that way, okay? There has to be a build-up, a satisfying build-up to a conclusion, okay? That's how stories are made. And so far, Jane just doesn't have it. You know, thematically, she doesn't have it, okay? Now, if you want to go back and think of, okay, what makes a person worthy of Mjolnir, okay? Recently, Matt Pat released a video, okay? And he basically showed two main things that you need to be. You need to be you need to have committed a great self-sacrifice, you know, committed the ultimate sacrifice, giving your life to save the world. That's one of the requirements, and you have to be humble. You have to be very humble. You know, you have to not seek out power, okay? And like I said, Jane Foster hasn't met those two requirements. Cap definitely has. You know, he literally died for basically 50 years, went to sleep, but basically died for 50 years until he was brought back to life. And he has always, you know, pushed away power. You know, in the first Cap movie, he rejected the Tesseract. Even if it was this thing that can give him a lot of power, he rejected it because he doesn't seek out power. He's that humble dude, and you know, they've shown him time and time again, proving himself to be worthy of picking up this hammer, okay? But Jane Foster so far it's not, okay? And if you look at it story-wise, okay, just look at it from a story perspective. Jane Foster left Thor at the beginning of Thor Ragnarok, okay? Officially, at the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. That's the first time where Thor officially says we split up, we went our own ways, okay? And if you think about it, Thor Ragnarok is literally the worst moment of Thor's life, all right? He loses his hammer, finds out loses his hammer, his freedom. He finds out he has a sister. He has to end up killing his sister, and he loses his dad in that same movie. He loses his people because at the end of the movie, after Hela wipes out like a large percentage of his people, Thor comes along and Thanos comes along and wipes out half of the Asgardians, okay? So this is just a terrible day for Thor, week, whatever, for Thor so far. But that's not all, okay? Because we cut right to Infinity War, where Thor goes on this mad quest for revenge. He gets the hammer, he gets the Stormbreaker, he rushes Thanos, but guess what? He fails to deliver the killing blow because he's so pissed off, he doesn't aim for the head. And so Thanos ends up, you know, wiping out half the universe, which if you think about it, is also half of his population again. So Hela has killed the Asgardians, Thanos wiped out half when he came to kill them in the ship, and then he wiped out the second half again with the snap. So he has failed colossal. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he also lost his brother Loki. Loki died during all of this, so it has just been a terrible time for Thor, and which is why in the beginning of Endgame he's so depressed that he gets fat and everything, all of that. But in all of this, guess who's not around? Jane Foster. She's nowhere. Like, she's nowhere in this. She's nowhere to be seen. Okay. Every other person, Pepper Potts, is with Tony Stark through all the mess. You know, they have a kid together. They're there. Okay. Everyone else has someone who's there for them. But you know, Jane Foster was never there for Thor throughout the worst part of his life. Now, Marvel can come out and say she was dusted throughout all this period, so that's why she couldn't, come look for Thor when the snap happened or whatever. Fine, that's fair, but still, it just feels like a cheap cop out, okay? Because again, she hasn't proved herself, okay? Right now, the only thing that makes Jane Foster worthy of holding Thor holding the Mjolnir is just the fact that she was once Thor's girlfriend. That's all, okay? She hasn't done anything yet, okay? And here's one more thing, okay? My other gripe is, fine, if they want to have a female goddess of thunder, that's fine. But let her be Jane Foster, goddess of thunder, okay? She doesn't have to take Thor. She doesn't have to take the name Jane Thor. And the reason is this: Thor is not a title, okay? It's not. I don't know where this misconception came from, but Thor is not a title. His name is Thor. He happens to be the god of thunder, okay? You can't just come up and take someone's name and, you know, Clark Kent is Superman, okay? Anyone can, if someone is strong enough and has the right suit and whatever, he can probably become Superman, but he can't be Clark Kent, okay? They're two different things, okay? Same thing with Spider-Man. You can have many Spider-Men in the universe or the multiverse, whatever, but you cannot have a second Peter Parker, okay? Peter Parker is Peter Parker. He's who he is, okay? Thor is his name, all right? And here's the thing. The reason why they're doing this is very obvious if you know what, if actually very obvious, is because they aren't sure that Jane Foster can sell on her own, okay? So they need to borrow Thor's name. You know, they need to take Thor's name and like stick it in her name, call her Mighty Thor, okay? Because if you say Jane Foster, Goddess of Thunder, probably only 5 people go watch the movie because they don't know who this character is. They have no reason to care for her. But thing is, why that might seem the case, it's not really, because there was this character, the first person to actually ever lift Thor's hammer in the comic books is called Better Real Bill, okay? Now, this dude is basically a monster. His people were killed by some evil people and they put his soul in a monster's body, and he went to kill a lot of people, he went to go for revenge, so he found Thor's hammer, he took the hammer, and he lifted it, okay? And when he lifted it, Thor had to fight him to decide who's the winner, who's gonna be the new owner of Mjolnir. And they fought basically to a standstill, they both wiped each other out, they fainted, and because we're fighting in a volcano and Beta Ray Bill's resistance to heat is better than Thor, Beta woke up first, okay? And because of that, he was initially meant to have Mjolnir, but he gave it up to Thor. And Odin, seeing this, was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give Beta Ray Bill his own hammer, which was the original Stormbreaker. Okay, so what Thor is using now in the MCU, the Stormbreaker, is a remixed version of the one which was given to Beta Ray Bill to begin with. Now, one thing you notice is throughout this entire time, I never said Beta Ray Thor, because the comic, they were confident enough in this character, they fleshed him out enough from the very first panel he showed up for him to stand on his own, okay? So he is Beta Ray Bill, who happens to have a hammer that can tap from the power of Thor. He is not Beta Ray Thor, okay? His name is still Beta Ray Bill, he retains his identity, and that is one thing which I don't know why the MCU is afraid to let this character, Jane Foster, retain her identity, okay? You don't need to take Thor's name, borrow it, okay? If you want to have a Goddess of Thunder, go ahead, okay? Full steam, all right? Just be confident enough in your character to, have her stay who she is, stay true to herself, okay? And I think that's where the real empowerment comes in. But whatever. I'm not a studio executive. I'm not being paid billions of dollars to drum up the next movie for Marvel. So, I'm not gonna fight with anybody. But my point is, so far, Jane Foster is not worthy of that hammer, okay? She just isn't. You can argue, but she isn't, okay? But you know what? It's fine. Marvel can do what they want. And if you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. If you disagree, same. Remember to comment, to subscribe to my channel, smash that notification bell, so that when the new video is coming out. And if you like what I do, I like listening to opinions, you can subscribe to me on Wattpad, read my novel over there, and follow, help me out on Patreon, okay? Help the channel grow. And thank you all. Share with your friends, let your friends know. And what do you think? Is Jane Foster worthy of the hammer? Is she? Is she not? Well, let me know. See y'all. This is Ren, signing out.